the first Ottoman conqueror, Osman. This is where the word Ottomans comes from, Uthman, Uthmaniyin, because the leader was the first person, was Uthman. And this was the same time Rumi was very close to this period.
Yes.
Rumi lived in the mid 13th century.
Have you seen Etrugul?
Huh?
Etrugul, Netflix, watch it everyone.
Ertugrul. No, I haven't.
He's got Ibn Arabi in it.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it talks about wisdom and how the Ottomans used to have original kind of sheikhs that went on them with on battles.
Yeah.
So when they conquered Constantinople,
Yeah.
they would have a Sufi sheikh
Yeah.
that accompanied
Yeah.
Sheikh Mohammed.
Yeah. This is how it was.
And we're talking about Somali as well. Somali, there were Somali Sufis as well.
Yeah.
Sayyid Muhammad Abdul Hassan,
Sayyid
Somali,
Muhammad
he was the one that
Yeah.
fought against the colonials.
Yeah.
And the first air campaign ever in human history where the Air Force led the war was in Somalia.
But then again, what happened later on? How did this notion of Sufism become divided? How did we get?
Innovations.
Sorry,
Some
no,
of them were innovative.
no, because Sufis, they started to do different things in different places. For example, some Sufis they went into a different kind of mysticism.
Yes.
They started bringing non-Islamic ideas into Islam, and this is when some of the Sufi leaders in India, people like Sheikh Ahmad Sirhindi,
Yeah.
you know, in
Was he
the
a Sufi?
was he a Naqshbandi.
Naqshbandi
He was the
Sufi.
founder of Naqshbandi
And
school
he
in India.
criticised Sufis
Yeah,
themselves.
of course, he was criticizing Sufis for introducing non-Islamic ideas into Islam or into Sufism or Islamic practices. Shah Waliullah, who was also Sufi, who wrote against people who go to graves and ask for guidance or ask for provisions from the dead people in the grave. Shah Waliullah wrote against that. There is a book written by him called Al-Balagh al-Mubin. In Al-Balagh al-Mubin, he actually condemned these non-Islamic practices. He went as far as to call such people guilty of subtle shirk.
No,
You
the
know.
Brelvis will disagree with you on that.
Of
Yeah,
course,
they
the
were-
Brahmanis disagree with Shah Waliullah.
No, they
And-
don't.
Yeah,
Some
they
of them,
don't.
they love Shah Waliullah.
But because they don't know him. They don't know. They don't read
because
his
Shah
books.
Waliullah-
Anyone who reads his books.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I know he was influenced when he went to Saudi Arabia. He was influenced by Ibn Taymiyyah.
All his teachers, no.
And then
All
they
his
say
teachers are
that-
Sufis.
Even Ibn Taymiyyah
All
had
his
different
teachers are
practices.
Sufis.
Yeah, different
Even
practices
Sheikh
of
Abu
Sufi.
Tahir al-Kurdi, his teacher Sufi. The people he studied with in Hijaz at the time was heavily influenced by Sufism. Even the muhaddithin, people who were teaching in Hijaz at the time, were influenced by Ottomans.
Yes.
The Ottomans were governing Hijaz at the time. So he was not influenced by Ibn Taymiyyah. He adopted some of the ideas of Ibn Taymiyyah, having studied him. Because Shah Waliullah was not a bigot. He was not just
he
one
was
of those.
very- he was an academic. He was
absolutely. He was very, very deep into his studies. So he adopted ideas from Ibn Taymiyyah, from Ibn al-Qayyim.
Yes.
Okay. There is no evidence that he ever met Sheikh Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab. There's no evidence, right? But what he did in India was very similar to what Sheikh Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab was doing. Although he went a different way. He started changing things militarily. Shah Waliullah had actually written similar theories in his books like Hujjatullah al-Baligha and Izalatul Khifa. So his theory of governing is in his books.
Why do you think Sufis get so much hate nowadays? Because I see now we're seeing, like, for example, in the Middle East, they're getting killed off. And a lot of people say the Shia, but it's actually Sufis that get killed. Sheikh Ramadan al-Bhuti, rahimahullah, he was blown up by some, I'm not going to go into that, it's political, but he was blown up. We're getting, like, Sufis, some of the Ba'alawis, there was a 90-year-old Mashayikh, he was 90 years old, Ba'alawi, he was killed just because he was a Sufi. In Egypt, we had
I think
500
when political events happen, when there is political disturbance, there are victims from all sides.
What about Ali
It's not
Jum'ah?
only.
Do you support
it's-
Ali Jum'ah?
No. It's,
I love Sheikh Ali.
You know,
Sheikh Ali
he give
Guma.
fatwa to shoot. He give fatwa shoot for death.
shoot to death
So, yes.
to
طوبى لمن
the
قتلهم.
protesters.
People
Protesters.
sitting,
No, but we're talking about
we agree
Sufism,
or
bro.
disagree, but
Yeah, well, let's
this
stick
is
to the
the one
topic.
you are proud of.
No,
He
so
say kill Muslims.
we're talking about Sufism, but Sufism is not homogeneous. That's the point we're making.
Is this something you admire, really?
Somalia, yeah.
No,
What is
so
the
because
love here?
but
No
this
love.
this would be a mistake.
yeah,
To put Sufis in one box
Yeah.
and treat them as one thing
Yeah.
is wrong.
Yeah.
There are categories of Sufis, right? There are extreme categories of Sufis. There are moderate categories of Sufis. There are Sufis who are very Sharia compliant. There are Sufis who are not Sharia compliant. Likewise, there are so-called Wahhabis who are very Sharia compliant, and there are those Wahhabis, so-called, who are not Sharia compliant. So this idea that you people put in one box and judge them in with one fatwa is misplaced.
The way I do, I believe anyone that says La ilaha illallah, Muhammad Rasulullah, they're Muslim.
Yes, the assumption is they're Muslim. Yes,
don't,
unless they do something against Islam.
And like, I've spoken out against Wahhabis or Salafis and stuff, but I consider someone like you, like my Ustad. I listen to you, I'll sit down with you, I watch all your lectures, I love you, do you know what I mean? Similarly with Sufis, some of them are amazing teachers there. Some of the Shias, you can learn some of the stuff academically and stuff. We have to, as Muslims, expand our minds and not just label people and this one's a kafir and this one's...
No, we shouldn't do that. We shouldn't do that. And this happens from all sides. Don't make a mistake.
Yeah, no, it's true.
Don't think the Sufis are the angels with wings landing from the heavens and there is nur around them. It doesn't work like that. You can paint anyone in positive light. You can paint anyone in a bad light. Okay, so you must deal with people as individuals, not as part of a group, because not every single individual from any particular group is actually,
Will you do a lecture about Sufism?
Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind.
Remember, you heard it first. We're going to do a lecture, Sheikh Adnan. We're going to get a few other people, inshallah. We'll talk about Sufism around the world and how the group spread and how, like you said, it's not homogeneous, especially on Somalia.
Yeah.
So we're going to have a Somali day soon, inshallah.
I don't know much about Somali history.
We got Fisherman.
Yeah.
We got Abu Talha. Abu Talha, we're going to do a Somali day, bro. We're going to hire out a mosque and we're going to get that information. But we all need to know about each other, you know what I mean?
So someone like yourself, I know you're an intelligent brother, mashallah, and as far as I can see, you're sincere, right? This approach, like for example, last week you had this, I'm sure you were angry and you were passionate, and you were saying, a lot of the time you were saying Wahhabi, and that was quite offensive. It's like I would be having a bout with someone, and I kept coming out with the word Sufi, all the Sufis. That would be wrong, right? Because you would, you just said that you respect me and you consider me as one of those people you learn from, and vice versa. I learn from you. Okay, if you were to talk to me and I was to give you my my Aqidah, what I believe in. For example, my Aqidah is very close to what Ibn Taymiyyah believed, right? Or Ibn Qayyim, or even Sheikh Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab in his Aqidah. Not necessarily the way he did things in Hijaz. Maybe he made mistakes. There were errors. Possibly, but what he was saying was correct in my view. He was trying to purify Islam from non-Islamic practices, and I'm sure you would be on the same boat. You wouldn't want.
I just disagreed how he did it.
Yes,
and I know
that's something you can have a problem with. But if you read his books, the book.
Second and third.
What are the problems with them?
Like I know he's against istighatha.
Yeah.
And then he said anyone that they're out of Islam.
No, but he doesn't mention istighatha. He mentions calling upon other than Allah is basically shirk.
Yeah, first one.
We agree.
With that,
So where he was talking about worshipping the dead. Yeah.
But that's the thing. What he calls worship, most people wouldn't call worship.
Yeah, I agree. That's where the confusion comes in. A lot of people are confused. This is why a lot of the Salafi ulama, the scholars, they do not make takfir upon the people who are seen worshipping graves. For example, someone bowing, making a sajda, they don't. Apparently it's kufr. Apparently what the person is doing, bow. So you saw someone, if I bowed to you, Allah forbid, right now, like people bow to Tayrul Qadri and other Sufis, sheikhs, which is absolutely haram in Islam.
Kissing the feet, I've heard that there's a hadith for it, but I don't know.
Kissing the feet is different. Completely different. You give the benefit
bowing,
of the doubt. Someone who is making the gesture of sajda, someone who's at a distance.
That's
like,
kufr,
I've seen Tayrul Qadri on video sitting at a distance, and a man comes in front of him, falls in sajda, and Tayrul Qadri is still sitting.
I've seen that.
That's apparently
I've seen that.
Okay. We cannot say the man is actually worshipping Tayrul Qadri.
No.
Okay. He is guilty of a haram act. It's not shirk.
No.
Okay. Although it falls into the category of shirk, Okay, but does it take him out of Islam?
No.
It depends on his niyyah.
Niyyah, right.
Okay, if he's doing it for ta'zeem, then it is haram. Okay, it's an act of kufr, but minor kufr, doesn't take you out of
We
Islam.
have to educate these people.
Yeah, I agree.
What about the one accepting it?
Sorry, the one who is accepting it, he's either a taghut or he's blind. Okay, if he's physically blind, he cannot see what people are doing, then, but if he's seeing what's happening in front of him and he doesn't stop it, he's taghut. Taghut is someone who's pleased, someone who's pleased by being worshipped.
That's a kufr.
And, well, I'm not going to
I
make
think he has
takfir.
explained that,
I'm
though.
going to stop there. I'm not gonna make.
there's no point.
Takfir is fatwa.
There's no point.
I'm not a mufti.
Yeah, it's
I'm
true,
not a
it's
mufti.
true. I think-
I'm telling you the ruling. So
You see,
someone
outwardly
sees.
it's wrong.
Yeah.
Outwardly, we will agree it's wrong.
There is a man who sees another man doing an act of worship towards him, and he's silent,
Yeah,
or
he
he's
can't.
pleased
He
with it,
shouldn't. He
or
shouldn't.
doesn't stop it.
Yeah, he should
That's
stop.
that makes him taghut.
Yeah.
Taghut is
Generally,
yeah
in a
yeah.
general sense,
But
yeah.
what is the ruling of such a man? Go to the
But
ulama.
it's not like the same as that old Pakistani lady that goes to the darbars and kisses the thing
No,
and bends over.
no.
That one we have to correct the
I
understanding.
agree. That's jahl.
That's jahl, yeah.
That's ignorance.
Yeah.
Okay.
the sheikh is not
So this is why I believe Sufi scholars in Pakistan have unfortunately failed to do a good
I
job
agree with
in
you.
explaining to the masses that what you're doing actually amounts to shirk. They're smoking charas,
Yes.
hashish on these darbars. They're having dance parties. There are people beating drums. There are drug addicts dancing there. There are all kinds of things happening in these shrines. Of course, we know that people are not necessarily worshipping the man in the shrine. We know that, but what it leads to is greater evil, right? So some of the Sufi scholars, they need to come out and they need to correct that this is not Islam. This is not what the Prophet came for. The Prophet ﷺ came for to correct people, not to worship other than Allah.
But in the subcontinent, Pakistan, Bangladesh, India, ignorance is rife. I
Yes.
mean, we've both been there. Like,
Yes.
you know, we see, especially in the village, all these peers that take advantage of things and stuff. Not all of them. Some of them are decent people, but
Yeah.
generally speaking, when you've got those leaders and then they give bayah and then suddenly they're spiritual leaders.
But do you see the point? Do you see the standpoint of so-called Wahhabi scholars, or call them Salafi scholars? Do you see that the concern? Their concerns are valid because they believe such practices lead to other evil acts that possibly or potentially can take one out of Islam. Okay, so that's why they're so concerned. That's why they're so adamant at preventing people from going to shrines and doing all these things.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, you want to go to the shrine, there are etiquettes. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ has taught us how to visit graves. What do you say? How do you pray? We have instructions, direct instructions from the Prophet as to how you behave in certain places at certain times.
Yes.
How do you behave with your parents? How do you behave with the dead? How do you treat the dead? How do you treat the living? How do you treat a camel? How do you treat animals? Every single thing is clear. And this is what these so-called Salafi scholars are saying, that why don't we listen to the Prophet ﷺ? Why don't we stick to his way and not follow X, Y, and Z teachers?
Scholars like yourself are fine, but there's some scholars who call that person a kafir. They've left Islam, and therefore their blood, their women, and their property becomes
This is
jahil.
absolute
That's the
falsehood.
problem.
This is I'm saying it on camera. This is absolute falsehood.
Yes.
Anyone who doesn't give another Muslim the benefit of the doubt, or udhr bil jahl, what we call in the Arabic language, udhr bil jahl, benefit of being ignorant.
Yes.
Okay, someone who's ignorant, and you have to go a mile to excuse Muslims,
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
And educate them, teach them, and if they still insist, having learnt, if they still insist on doing what they do, then you can apply a fatwa, and fatwa is the job of the mufti, who has to be qualified, who has to, not Mufti Abu Layth, by the way. Yeah, I'm
He's my
sorry.
friend, he's
I
my
have
friend.
to. I have to.
He's my
I
friend.
know he might be your
No,
friend.
I don't agree with him with everything. I don't agree with
He
him.
might be your friend,
Yeah.
but he's saying a lot of stuff nowadays, recently,
go.
which makes people laugh at him. Okay,
fair enough,
he,
fair enough.
he wants to be a joker. That's his choice. He's in Britain. Britain's an open society. People can say what they want, and they can come across as
Come
as
and
the,
see him with me in Birmingham.
I would
Kalam's coming too.
love to, but having watched his videos and his discussions, all he does is Da'if, ha 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 ha.
No.
Da'if, ha ha. How can you
no.
talk?
He had to get that Jua. You know that Muhammad's name. He does look like a Jua. Right, Jua means mouse. Yeah. He was going around saying this, that, the other. Oh, astaghfirullah, brother. You know how some Salafi brothers they guilt trip people and stuff. Yeah, now I'm gonna get a lot of hate. Yeah, but they do. They make Islam hard for people. And
someone like me watching Abu Lais,
Yeah.
Or Naheem. His name is Naheem. Yeah? Naheem. Naeem or Naheem?
I think his name.
He spells it like Naheem. I'm watching someone like that, and I see a joker.
Yeah.
Okay, look, Mufti is a very honorable title. It means a man who gives religious rulings.
Yeah.
And in order to give religious rulings, Mufti is not a certificate you put on the wall.
No.
You can have 50 certificates from 50 different institutions of being a Mufti.
Yeah.
But Mufti is actually a state of being. Do you agree? It's a state of being.
I feel he covers for Britain. He brings the British banter, and I love the way that his opinions are different.
Call yourself.
But he's got loads of non-Muslims that have come back to Islam.
Call yourself Joe Block.
Yeah.
Call yourself Joe
Talk
Block
about
and crack
Mufti
jokes. Crack jokes. You want to be a joker, comedian. There are plenty of comedians in Britain. No one has an issue with the comedian. But if you want to call yourself Allama, Al-Sheikh, Al-Mufti, Al-Ahmak, something like that, yeah? That I am Allama, you're using Islamic titles. Imam Joker, for example. If you call yourself Imam Joker or Imam Comedian or something like that, yeah? It doesn't work like that.
But we've got enough serious religious people, let's be honest though.
Of course.
We
Look,
need that. In Britain,
look.
we need people that are don't just judgmental.
Yes.
Like, I'll give you an example.
I agree,
There's a sister here that didn't wear hijab, yeah? She absolutely ripped Godwin, or I think it was last week, or Daniel, yeah? Ripped him to part. And then one person's wrote martial art. Then it was like, oh, she's not wearing hijab. How dare you stand next to sister? Sisters shouldn't be speaking. Oh, it was
mashallah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. No one focuses on that.
No.
Like, do you know what I mean? And then you got religious people that
I see.
Some of their opinions are retarded.
I see. You see, I believe to be lively, to be happy, to come across as pleasant, you don't have to compromise your religion.
No.
You don't have to water down your religion. Mufti Menk is a well-known Muslim personality. He's so funny.
No, that's
No, he's very funny. Trust me.
The
reason, and he's Mufti amazingly. He has a title
nice guy,
attached to his name, Mufti.
Yeah.
And when you look at him, you think this guy is actually a Mufti. Okay, he's got the religious attire. He's got the religious demeanor. He's got the religious manners. Okay, he doesn't look like Fido Dido. You remember Fido Dido? Or Fido Dido? What was it called? This character, the yo-yo. Sorry, Fido Dido with the spiky hair, yeah, or what's that? Street fighter character. Guile.
Yeah.
Guile. What did you used to do?
But that's it. Well, listen.
No. Sonic Boom.
Well, he's from
Sonic
Birmingham.
Boom. Okay.
He's from Birmingham. They have funny haircuts there.
That's fine. Don't. Okay, if you want to
I'll
call
take that back.
Look,
It's not going Birmingham today.
if you call yourself a Mufti, then look like a Mufti, man.
What does it look to me look like a Mufti?
I'll give you an example. You go to a hospital
Yeah.
for kidney surgery,
Yeah.
and a guy walks in, yeah, who has. And I don't have anything against people with tattoos, right? A guy walks in with. Have you seen those people from New Zealand? What are they called? Maori people, and they have tattoos on their faces like this. Yeah, half the face is the tattoo, and someone like that walks with big muscles with two knives. Someone walks in like that. Yeah. The first thing you hold a second. Is this guy performing the surgery on me? Yes, he is the surgeon. I don't want him. Because the way he looks, right? A surgeon has to look the game, right? He has to look the part. He has to look like a surgeon. If you call yourself a Mufti, right? Or if you, for example, if you have a football match and a guy walks in with a big belly, yeah, and he can't even run, or someone, so when you claim a title, you have to look it, right?
Sheikh Adnan, you do know he's going to go in on your Monday nights now. Mufti, allow him, please.
No.
Because he will cuss you.
I don't have against. I'm not cussing him. I'm not
That's
cussing.
it. He's not cussing.
I wish him the best of both lives. I wish him the best of both lives. I wish him that may Allah make him a beneficial person for this ummah and other people around the world. Okay, I wish him the best. Okay, the point I'm making is.
But do you think Islam, like, for example, I'm a British Muslim, yeah? I identify like that. I don't, like, and there's people, oh bro, you can't be British Muslim. Are you British more? Are you Muslim? Don't ask me stupid questions, yeah? But I'm British Muslim, that's it. I'm a man, I'm a mammal, do you know what I mean? Don't ask me things like
Yeah,
that. That's it. But the reality is that there's a lot of Muslims here that Islam, it's not relevant for the general masses. Most of the people don't pray 5 times a day. We're failing to connect. Some of our backward fatwas that have come years ago from the subcontinent or Arabia and stuff, you know, we need to make Islam relevant to the general masses.
I agree 100% that Islam needs to be explained in a way that the generations alive today can actually relate to it, right? And it's a beautiful faith, and it's a very, very flexible faith. Without changing Islam, without changing any rule from Islam, anything from Islam, even a dot, we can explain Islam in a beautiful fashion to the masses, to the youth, and to the people out there who want to understand. I believe Islam is the most rational human philosophy to live by. It is the most beneficial human philosophy to live by. I believe Islam is the most beneficial philosophy for mankind to follow. Why? I have my reasons. Okay, do a comparison between Islam and other philosophies invented by humans and see, Islam is not invented by humans. That's why I believe it's superior. Not superior in the sense that it should give us pride or arrogance, rather superior in the sense that I feel it's better. It is better than other philosophies to live by. I believe, I'm going to go a step further. I'm going to go a step further and say, even if God did not exist, and I'm saying, A'udhu Billah, I'm a firm believer in God. I believe God exists and I have no doubts on that point. I do not doubt that. But if any objective person, any objective researcher, any objective searcher was to look into Islam objectively, do a comparison with other philosophies, other systems, or other ways of life, one would find Islam to be the most civilized, the most positive, the most progressive way of life to live by. Even if God didn't exist. Okay? Islam would still win as a philosophy if a comparison was done between Islam, communism, capitalism, liberalism, or all the other isms or schisms. Okay? Islam would stand alone as a unique way of life to lead humanity into happiness. What does Islam teach? Islam has beautiful teachings, right? We don't need to change Islam. We don't need Mufti Abu Layses or Majid Nawazes or Tariq Fatahs or no. These are some people.
No, you can't put Mufti Abu Layth in the same category as like Majid Nawaz. That's complete. Mufti Abu Layth brings opinions. There might be minority opinions, but they're from within the Sheikh. So he recently did a talk with Sheikh Akram.
I'm going to come to him later on. Let me talk very quickly about Islam. Why I believe Islam is a beautiful way of life. If followed correctly, if followed properly, it leads to a beautiful character. If you listen to the Prophet's teaching, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said smiling is an act of charity. Look how beautiful this teaching is. He said smiling is an act of charity. Give charity even if it's as little as a date, half a date. How big is a date? It's a little fruit. Give charity. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, do not overburden your animals. They are creatures of God. Do not overburden them. The Prophet taught that paradise is under the feet of your mothers. The Prophet taught the best of you are those who are best to their families, the best to their wives. And the Prophet taught about children, man la yurham, the one who does not have mercy on children will not be shown mercy on the day of judgment. The Prophet taught about environment, cleanliness. He taught how to clean yourself, brushing your teeth. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, "Lawla an ashukka ala ummati la amartuhum bis-siwak inda kulli salat." That if it was not difficult for people to do it, I would have commanded them to brush their teeth with every single prayer, 5 times a day. This is the hygiene. A man sitting in the middle of the Arabian desert, in the 7th century is teaching to his companions.
And we're supposed to look
Okay.
nice, aren't we? Smell
We-
nice, look
we need
nice.
to we need
There's
to
some
look
ugly
nice.
Muslims out there.
Yeah, no.
No, it's true though. Let's speak facts.
There are some ugly non-Muslims out
Yeah,
there.
that's true.
There are some ugly atheists out there. There are some beautiful atheists out there. There's some beautiful Christians out there. So there are some beautiful
Which
Muslims
atheist
out there.
beautiful?
Look, my advice is
I'm
to look
trolling,
for the
I'm trolling.
beautiful ones. When you go out shopping, when no, as they say, the beauty, and no, as they say, beauty is in the eye of the beholder.
Oh, mashallah.
Okay, when you go to Tesco to buy a vegetable, you don't go for the rotten ones.
Yeah, it's true.
You're not looking for the rotten ones. Oh, let me find the rotten potatoes and rotten vegetables. So then you go for the nice ones. You go the nice. So likewise, when you go out looking for people, or you want to talk to people, or you want to see two representatives of a religion, of an ideology, look for the nice ones. Don't look for the rotten ones. What happens is when you look for the rotten ones, then that's the view you form about that particular faith or that particular ideology. There are plenty of beautiful examples of Muslims or Islam. Go for them. Talk to them. Plenty of beautiful examples of Sufis. Plenty of beautiful examples of Wahhabis. Plenty of beautiful examples of Salafis and Shias. There are some very nice Shias I've met. Very nice, gentlemen. You know, I like talking to them.
Say it,
I may disagree. I disagree with their
Yeah,
theology.
it's true.
I disagree with their view on God.
Yes.
But yes, some people can give you bad name. So coming back to Mufti Abu Lais and people like him, and I don't know why he's doing what he's doing, because being learned, I know he's learned. He knows the Arabic
Very
language.
learned, very
He has read the classical works, and having had that knowledge, and he insinuates that weed is somehow acceptable. Okay, sometimes you need to use your common sense. There's some person who may look
Why don't
very-
you like weed?
I don't like weed because
I don't like it either,
it messes your brain up.
I agree.
Okay, we don't need a fatwa from a mufti to tell us that smoking is haram. Smoking is bad for your health.
But there is a
Because
difference of
on
opinion on
every
that.
single pack, on every
What about
single
shisha?
cigarette
What
pack,
about shisha?
bad. Anything unnatural going into your system is bad. Unnatural. When I say unnatural, okay,
But it's not haram though, is it?
I believe it's haram.
Yeah, but there's a difference of
No,
opinion.
smoking is haram, not because I need a mufti for it. I don't need a mufti to tell me that smoking is haram.
But that's haram.
I look at the cigarette packet.
Yeah, but-
On the packet it says it's poison, don't drink it.
But it's makruh, isn't it? Like some people have said there's difference of opinion. There is a difference.
No.
Your opinion
Those,
is haram.
no.
So you're not a mufti.
No, I'll tell you something.
Come on, man. There's loads of smokers out there.
And I believe it's haram. I believe smoking. No. Smoking, I believe, is not allowed in Islam because it is harmful. It is. You go to any medical practitioner, you go to any doctor in the world, go to researchers, they will tell you smoking harms your health. If it harms your health, it is not allowed. I don't care what some mufti says in Zanzibar or in South Africa or somewhere else. I don't care what they say. I know it is bad for your health. It is haram. Okay, and proportionally, one cigarette can cause more, because some people bring the argument meat is bad for you, potato is bad for you, but proportionally it's not. If you have, for example, an X amount of meat every month, it doesn't harm you. But if you smoke one cigarette, the harm it has proportionally, by looking at the size of the cigarette and the intake you have, it is haram. So again, coming back to the point, look for good examples, and when you want to learn Islam, like brothers like you, beautiful brothers like yourself, don't go to dodgy characters. There are giants.
My main teacher is Sheikh Hamza Yusuf.
Okay.
And then my second teacher is people want to know this, Sheikh Asabek. I love Sheikh Asabek.
Okay.
And stuff.
Why do you
But
love him? Is it because of his knowledge or his demeanor?
I love his knowledge. I love the things that he comes out. I love his early history, especially
Okay.
of the Hanafi faith. But I still learn from everyone. So for example,
but do you know-
Shamsi, for
but do-
example,
but do you know-
I'm going to sit down with Shamsi in a few weeks. I'm going to his mosque, and I might have said something.
But do
I'm
you know
rightly
most
wrong.
Hanafi scholars actually have disowned it?
Who's that?
Atabek.
The modern Hanafis, yeah.
No. Classical Hanafis. classical Hanafis have disowned him because he is coming up with things that cannot be. Believe me.
Which classical?
Go to the Deobandi scholar Mufti.
Taqi Osmani.
No. They're Hanafis.
I think Taqi Osmani's. He said something about wife being was alright.
No.
He's got a subcontinent. He's got a subcontinent view. I don't like him. It's not for me.
Yeah, he's great. He's a great scholar.
No, he's got knowledge.
No. Look. You just used something against Taqi Usmani.
Yeah.
You said he has this opinion. Let's assume he has it. Yes. I don't believe he does. You have misunderstood him. Okay. Let's assume he does have that opinion. But then you have someone else on the side who appears to be legalizing weed.
Abu Lays. Talk about Sheikh Atabek. Let's speak to Sheikh Atabek.
Okay, Sheikh Atabek, for example, is
Hanafi scholar. He's not easy to understand all the time. And sometimes his English inhibits him, but his critical mind, he's a pure academic. And he studied with all the
Is it
he
because
studied with Sheikh Uthamin even. You know, like he went, stayed in the desert, waiting for Sheikh Uthamin. He was a student of Sheikh Uthamin. Studied with the Salafis. He studied with Deobandis, Brailvis, Sufis, and he's the one that said to me, "You have to learn from everyone."
my advice is, as a Muslim, again, when you want to learn from the best. The best.
I think.
Okay, no, you have to travel for that. Don't. When you want to learn kung fu, you go. You will go to. You choose. When you want to get married, you choose the most beautiful woman for yourself, or the one who's most pleasing to you, right? When you want to buy a car, you go and buy the best car in your budget, right? When you want to learn Islam, why do you go to these people? Go to the best. The best are dead. Pick up the books, learn the Arabic language, start reading the classical sources. Your mind will be blown away in a positive way. Your mind will be the geniuses we have in our history.
Yeah, absolutely.
People, whatever you want to read, philosophy, Imam Ghazali, you're not going to beat him.
No.
Okay, theology, Ibn Taymiyyah, Hadith, Ibn al-Hajr, okay, Tasawwuf, Ibn al-Qayyim, and others.
I'm from the Hanafi opinion. So
no problem. Then Hanafi doesn't mean that you don't read others.
No, absolutely.
It does. Hanafi doesn't mean that you put yourself in a cage.
No, but I love obviously Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Hassan Shaybani, Abu Yusuf, Abu Zafar.
Read the books.
I read their books.
Have you read Kitab al-Khiraj?
I love like what you're talking about. We're talking about Sheikh Wali Allah.
Shah Waliullah, absolutely.
Amazing, but he's got loads of diverse opinions and he kept on changing.
No, he didn't keep on changing. He changed his views in the light of Hadith. When he found authentic reports from the Prophet and they could not be compromised or they could not be reconciled with the school, he left the school and he followed the Hadith.
I went to a lecture in Ibrahim College last year, and there was a lady professor from Chicago, and she was talking about all of this as well.
Right.
So she was talking about how Shah Wali Allah.
Marcia.
Yeah. Were you there?
No, I wasn't there, but I've read her work. She's amazing. She's absolutely amazing. And she's an expert on Shah Waliullah.
Yes.
And what did she say about Shah Waliullah?
She talking about how his opinion changed, how he went through
Of course.
periodization.
Of course.
And then she talked about Shah Waliullah, the Sufi, that a lot of people haven't really explored yet.
Yes. Shah Waliullah went through a huge transition in his life. Okay? When he was 30 years old, his own followers, Sheikh Ashik Pulati, who was one of his followers and one of his cousins as well, if I'm not mistaken, he himself stated, because he traveled with him to Hajj in 1731, Shah Waliullah went for Hajj, okay, and he stayed in Hijaz for nearly 14 months. Then he returned to India. Sheikh Ashik Pulati states that Waliullah was a completely changed man because the knowledge he acquired in Hijaz was something new to him. He didn't have that knowledge, right? And that changed his approach. He became a completely different person, and his approach became a lot more informed, nuanced, and his writings after he came back from Hijaz are a lot more thorough and deep than what he wrote before when he was a young man.
Brailvis love him, the Deobandis and the Al-Hadith. So, for example, like Sheikh Khalid Hussain from Leicester is one of my teachers and stuff. He loves Shah Waliullah, Rahimullah. Do you know what I mean? And they all praise him. So, for example, we do Khatam on Thursdays, where we believe the souls.
So my advice
Shah
is,
Waliullah said that's completely.
do you have any doubts that he was a balanced person?
I believe he was a very balanced
Read his
person.
books.
I love his books. I do
Read the translation of Marcia.
I'm reading that now.
The decisive argument from God, Hujjatullah al-Balagha. Read it. So instead of going to X, Y, and Z, and I'm telling that to myself.
Yeah.
Instead of going to Tom, Dicks, and Harry's, funny-looking people or funny-behaving people to learn Islam, no. To learn Islam, go to the giants. Go to the real people
We've
who
got
lived
British
Islam,
problems.
who were an embodiment of Islam.
We've got British problems now. For example, organ donation. For example, this.
Yeah,
that,
but
the other.
for that you
But-
don't.
So when I go back, those questions aren't asked. We've got British problems. here.
No. Every single thing is answered.
It's not.
Islam Q&A. Go check.
Some Q&A.
Give me a question.
Okay. Alright, is organ donation allowed?
Okay, scholars are divided. Scholars of Islam are divided. Organ donation. Okay, one group of scholars says that mutilating bodies, dead bodies, is not allowed in Islam. So by that principle, organ donation is actually mutilating the body, right? Other scholars reasonably argue that if someone's life can be saved, right, by organ donation, and if the person permits before dying that my organs can be donated to save someone's life, there's nothing wrong with that, because that's his property, that's his belonging, so he's giving it to someone else, and both arguments are valid. What's the problem? So if one group starts to saying, you bunch of hypocrites, you liars, you have this erroneous opinion, this is not Islam. In Islam, we are tolerant, we are generous to each other. If someone has an opinion, as long as it is a valid opinion and not a wild opinion, a valid opinion, we respect it.
So shisha, I smoke shisha occasionally on Edgeway
I
Road.
believe it's haram. There are others who say it's not
haram
haram.
is such a hard thing.
Yeah, no problem.
It's like
Yeah, that's an
traditionally,
opinion, but that's a
scholars-
valid opinion.
No, but-
because how do scholars base their opinions? How do they reach opinions? They reach conclusions by looking at the pros and cons.
Yeah, but traditionally they wouldn't say haram. There's 5 levels, aren't there? There's obviously halal, then there's permissible, then there's makruh, and then
I know where you're coming from.
And then there's haram's right at the
But
bottom.
when some scholars take this view that prevention is the mother of cure.
Yeah. I know Sheikh Asrar thinks it's haram.
Yeah, and anything that leads to harm
Yeah.
or greater harm, that thing is forbidden even in minimum amount. For example, alcohol. Okay. What is haram? إنما الخمر والميسر والأنصاب والأزلام رجس من عمل الشيطان فاجتنبوه لعلكم تفلحون. That wine, not wine in particular, intoxicants.
Yes.
Allah used the word intoxicants in the Quran. They are the works of shaitan. They are the works of devil. Abstain from them. Now one can turn around and argue, hold on a second, intoxicants, when they intoxicate. But if I drink a little bit of wine, or if I have a spliff of weed, or if I have a joint, what do you call it, a joint? Yeah, nowadays they call it a joint, huh? A joint, yeah, of course. Of course. I've never. Okay, yeah.
I think you secretly smoke, you know.
No, I don't. I've never smoked. Alhamdulillah, Allah protected me from it. Yeah. I don't smoke.
Alright, let me ask you.
Sorry.
Shaking hands of women in the office place, yeah?
Okay.
A lot of people say haram. I shook those Californian girl. Do you know how much hate I got for shaking their
No,
hand?
they're okay. Look.
And is there a difference of opinion on that?
No. Again, there are scholars who take a view on that. We don't agree with them, like Yusuf Qardawi.
Yusuf
You know,
Qardawi.
with
Sheikh
respect,
Ali Ghumma, Sheikh bin Bayyah.
Sheikh Ali Juma, I wouldn't accept him as a valid
great
source
scholar.
in a discussion. I
Sheikh Ali
wouldn't.
Ghumma is a
No,
giant.
not because of his recent opinions. Sometimes some of the things he has, either he's forced to say what he's saying. If he's forced, then he's excused.
Yeah, but
Okay.
can you shake
But
in the hands?
if he's saying those things in his right mind, that when he gave the Sisi government an open fatwa to go and kill anyone you like, yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. But I'm saying that if someone has that opinion, okay,
Shaking a woman's hand.
yeah, I don't agree with it.
Yeah.
I don't agree with it. But if someone has that opinion, okay, let him have that
I was
opinion.
called a kafir in the comment section.
No.
Kafir, haram,
yeah,
you're disobeying the hadith, and they'll throw the hadith at you.
No,
But it's not that simple.
this is why yeah, they're wrong for doing that.
Yeah.
They're absolutely wrong. These people, look, don't take hundreds of these people out there online seriously, because some of them have no life.
Yeah, of course.
Some of them
use 5
all
or
they
6
do is they
accounts.
live
I know
on
you are.
the laptop, okay, and all they do is spread hate and
Yes.
negativity,
Yes.
right? So if you will let those people govern your life, you're dead, you're finished. You might as well commit suicide.
So you don't
because
think it's
there is
alright?
so much hate out there, like this content over everything, this channel. Yeah, go and look at the comments.
Content over.
It's like it's like
Knowledge from the scholars. The scholars are good, the scholars, not from book, not internet, not from.
yeah,
But the
real.
scholars,
real,
what
yeah.
I'm saying is the scholars in Islam have had a plethora of views on all sorts of it.
Yes, and we
within the
respect them.
principles-
We respect them. Those who have the credential
Yeah.
and the behavior and the demeanor.
Well, who defines behavior?
And the behavior is someone is if someone says I'm a mufti, or let me go and attend that orgy. A'udhu billah.
No, he's
A'udhu
never
billah.
attended
Or let me
orgy.
go to the club. Let me go to the club.
Come on, bro, the guy
You
from
want
KFC
no?
was
If you go
But you don't talk about Mufti, are
Okay,
you?
no, I'm not
Mufti
talking
Abul.
about. I'm not talking about him. I'm
He's
taking.
never done any
I'm
Mufti
saying
as far as
generally,
I know.
you go to a scholar for a religious ruling, and he's having a pint,
Not me, man.
or
I've
he's,
not been.
he's drinking Heineken, or he's got Budweiser. Is it called Budweiser? Yeah. No, he goes, hold on a second. Let me finish this, and then I'll respond. If you are
Yeah, of course.
if you are someone stable
Yeah.
in the mind,
Yeah.
this guy is not a scholar. He's not even practicing his knowledge. I don't want fatwa from him, right? This is what I'm saying.
I
You want- you
think
want-
Muslims are too judgmental.
no.
I do, I'm
No.
honest.
Muslims are not judgmental. Muslims are not judgmental. Those who are informed are not judgmental. They are reasonable. If they see something, yeah, if it looks like a duck, and if it quacks like a duck, then it is a duck, right? So that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So if you don't blame a Muslim for calling a duck a duck.
But aren't some of them
Right.
hyper? Like they're just so. Some like, oh my god, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah.
Some
you can't
have
do that.
some people who come to Islam and they're new. They're new. No, wait, let me explain.
We've
What
got
that-
some
that
retards.
phenomena-
We have got some
no,
retards.
No. That phenomena.
We
I'll
have
tell you
got
what.
bare retards.
No.
in the Muslim
Listen.
And the ones that
This-
love to throw their authority around and power trip.
Waqar, this is a human phenomena. When humans start to do something anew, when you get married to a woman, you're very excited. She is the love of your life. She's
goes after a
everything.
week. It goes after a week.
No. In most cases, 6 months. 6 months later, you think, oh my God, what have I done?
Astaghfirullah.
What have I done? Huh? Right?
me another
this
one.
Is like with Islam.
Wives can kill
People
me.
come into Islam. They start practicing, and within 5 days, they want to turn the whole world into a Sharia compliant space where everyone has to comply by your rules. We don't live in a world like that. And Islam doesn't want that. Even the Prophet warned us about this behavior. Our Prophet taught us how to behave. He warned us that Islam will either overpower you or you will overpower it. Okay? What did he mean by that? Some people become extreme. Because they become a bit righteous, they start
So
practicing. They start to gun every single person down around them. Oh, you're not like me. You don't have the beard like me. You don't wear hijab like me. You don't pray like me. Therefore, you are not worthy of attention. You are not worthy of any praise or any respect.
And it
Okay?
chases people out of Islam.
Yeah. So we are not. Islam is a balanced way of life. If it doesn't make you bad, if Islam does not polish your character, I'm being very clear about it. If Islam does not make your character better, if it doesn't make you a pleasant human being,
Yeah.
if it doesn't polish your character, then you are not following Islam.
That's true.
Then you have not actually internalized Islam, because Islam should have an effect on your character, that you become a pleasant person, you become a fair person, you become a balanced person, you're not repulsive, you're not repugnant, you're not you're not a negative person generally. You look
Positive.
at
You
good.
gotta be positive.
You got to be progressive.
I
You
heard
got
it's
to
a
be
fard
positive.
ayn to be positive.
Yes,
You know.
yes. Think positively.
And we shouldn't hate people.
Husn dhan. This is again taught by
That's
our
a
Prophet
Sunni,
to us.
that's a Sunni
yeah,
thing, isn't
yeah. No. That's a Muslim thing. That's a Muslim
Some
thing.
of the Shias don't have it.
About the Sahaba.
Yeah, exactly. So
no,
that's-
but
that's-
then,
I heard that's a
but,
big difference.
but
That's
then
what I'm
again,
saying.
there's a problem. They're not following the Prophet.
Yeah.
The Prophet said, "Have a good opinion of others,
Yeah.
until or unless you see clear-cut evidence to suggest otherwise. Have a good opinion of people.
Even
If
non-Muslims,
someone gives
even-
you evidence,
even
in your,
non-Muslims.
yes, non-Muslims, absolutely, have a good opinion of them. Okay, if they give you evidence to suggest otherwise, to believe otherwise, then you have grounds to believe what you believe, right? But generally, a Muslim is a pleasant. Even our Prophet ﷺ, how did he behave in disagreements? A man came to him and spoke to him so rudely. Did he respond rudely? His enemies came to him. He left his spot to honor them. Subhanallah. So because of one of the people, Thumama, he was a captive of war. He was put in front of the Prophet, and the Prophet spoke to him. He went to speak to him and he said, I don't want to look at your face. Your face, A'udhu Billah, is the worst face on the planet. He said that to the Prophet in front of his companions, people who would die for the Prophet. And some of them they wanted to kill Thumama. They said, okay, well, how can you talk to a Prophet? And he stopped them. He said, leave him. 3 days the Prophet went back to him. He said, Thumama, talk to me. And Thumama said, I don't want to look at your face. And then the Prophet, the third day, he said, let him go. Open his ropes, let him go. And when he did that, Thumama runs out of Medina. And then he goes out there and he thinks, hold on a second, I was saying such disgusting things to this man, and this is how he treats me, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He came back running and he said, you know what? No questions. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan rasulullah. That only your Prophet can have that patience. Only someone who's inspired by God can have that patience. Normal people cannot have that patience.
And there was a man that took a leak in the mosque, right?
Yeah. Subhanallah. That's such a beautiful example. A man, he came. Today, I'm asking the Muslims, these pious, self-righteous, beautiful Muslims, great Muslims. Yeah. If you saw a person urinating in the masjid on the carpet, what would you do with him?
Bang it.
No.
Bang him out if it was Tommy Robinson.
You would at least reprimand him, rebuke him, or you would grab him and take him out of the masjid. Or you would think a man came in front of the Prophet, urinated in the masjid, and the companions had the same reaction. They went towards him, and the Prophet said, leave him, let him relieve himself.
So he actually finished.
And he finished. After finishing, he walked away, and the Prophet said, go and pour water over it. Wash it. That's it. Don't leave the man alone. This is the manner
And then
he
he
had.
explained to the man that
Yeah.
you don't do this in the mosque.
Yes.
It's a sacred place.
So yes, exactly.
And what about the drunk Sahabi? Have you heard of
Yeah, Abu Mehjan, yani one of the
Nu'iman?
okay, I don't know if we're talking about the same person. There was a drunk Sahabi, and the Prophet ﷺ, he was punished for his drinking because drinking was not allowed in Islamic society at that time. Sorry? No, I don't know.
No, he's Nu'iman. He used to drink.
They call him a Jash.
I don't know. I don't remember the name. And then some of the people rebuked him for doing this, and the Prophet said, "Don't rebuke him. He loves me. He loves Allah and His Messenger. Yeah, leave, even though he's a drunkard. Leave him." So this is the character of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is yes. Okay.
And they said that he influenced the jesters. You know the jester culture
Okay.
in the Ottoman Empire.
So what we need to do is we need to educate people about our Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and we need to educate the Muslims about his behavior, his manners, so that we can follow. If, again, to emphasize the point, if Islam does not reform your character for the better, if you do not become a better person, you don't become a pleasant person, you don't become even well-mannered in your behavior, then Islam has not benefited you. You're not following Islam. You're ignoring Islam. You think you are following Islam, but you are actually ignoring the teachings of Islam. Simple.
What about British values? Just finish it off. The British values and some of the British kind of culture is very compatible with Islam, I would argue. You know, thank you, goodbye, please.
Absolutely. Some of the British people,
They're
the English
amazing.
people, some of the English people I've met, okay,
best people.
they have beautiful manners.
Yes.
Absolutely beautiful manners. I actually believe sometimes that this is a Muslim without Islam.
Yeah, 100%.
Some of their behavior, some of how they treat others, how they respect others. I mean, I've been treated with a lot of respect, with a lot of honor in a number of different places. Of course, there are exceptions in every single society. There are good and bad in every single society. But there are some people out there, things people deem British or English, some of them are beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Greeting others, being hospitable, being helpful, being tolerance, generosity. British people have been very generous with Muslims.
Very.
Muslims have been given a home in Britain. We have lived here for the last 50 years, built mosques, did art, worship. Muslims are possibly more free in Britain than most Muslim countries.
Haq.
I'm saying most Muslim countries.
Haq.
Yes, there is freedom here, and we love it, and we love. So there are people out there who think we don't appreciate it. We appreciate it.
love it.
Britain, I'm an immigrant. I came to this country in 1997. Okay, as a young man, and I benefited from the country. I studied here. I got my education here. I got my children are here. They were raised here. They're British. They are more British than Pakistani. They cannot relate to Pakistan. When I take my children to Pakistan, they think, well, can we go back? Can we go back, please? Huh?
Velati.
Yeah. Can we go? Because they can't take the system there, the culture is different.
hot,
So
man.
they feel more British. And there are beautiful things about Britain, and we really appreciate those things. Now, having said that, that doesn't mean that we agree with what the government is doing
No.
around the world. We don't. We don't. Many British people, because they are moral people,
Yes.
they don't agree with what the
Yes,
government is doing.
true.
Yeah. So there is a balanced view,
And we have a
and
right
we need
to
to
speak
cherish.
up as citizens, as
Yes.
British citizens. We have absolutely a right.
Yes.
Just because we're brown or we're black, we shouldn't be seen as any lesser for having an opinion.
Yes.
Which is sometimes, as a British Muslim, how I feel sometimes.
Yes, I think, and this is why we need to talk to the British people more.
Yes.
There are many decent British people out there.